Of a model gone mad. His public meltdown in New York's Times Square was caught on camera. And as Bauman shows us tonight, he's now telling all for the very first time about that incident. He now says he wants to help others.
I couldn't handle, just being in the world.
Full frontal for thousands at the top of the TKTS booth in Times Square June 30th. Crit McLean was hitting rock bottom when he says a manic episode of paranoia drove him to dance, yell, and spit in the nude toward police officers for nearly an hour.
Everything was fine. School was going well. Modeling was going well. I was doing my acting classes. Artistically, I was expressing myself. I couldn't have been in a better place in terms of my life and the direction I personally wanted it to be in.
McLean has since been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and is undergoing therapy. Charges of public lewdness, disorderly conduct, and exposure were dropped on Friday. McLean says he remembers everything from that day, but now he's left trying to make sense of it.
I was paranoid that people were after me and that they were evil and that they were coming for me from all sides.
The former magazine and runway model says paranoia began to build the night before when leaving his family's home on Roosevelt Island. He took off his gold sneakers and slept outside, compelled to be one with nature.
I was in tears and I was crying and I felt so alone and so scared and so vulnerable. But I didn't want to involve my family in it because I thought that they would get hurt.
At dawn, McLean's paranoia was getting worse, so he headed for his apartment in Hell's Kitchen, soothing himself with song and dance. But he became transfixed by the signs in Times Square.
And I all of a sudden saw all of these messages, the Express advertisement, and it said, express yourself. How can I express myself now? And then I realized, oh my God, I need to take off my clothes and express myself to the fullest.
What happened next was anyone's worst nightmare. Thousands gawked at McLean's meltdown in the Buff. It wasn't until a few days after he woke up handcuffed in Bellevue Hospital that McLean realized his episode had spread around the world.
It just happened in a flash. I didn't even realize what was going on.
And that was Bauman reporting there. Now, some of the conditions of the charges being dropped, McLean has to stick with his therapy and appear back in court in the next 6 months.